Here we go. Welcome back to another edition of United Football, the United Football Show on Salt City FC. And we're going to step away from my last guest. Shout out to Ruby Hladek from the Utah United women's team. We're going to move over to USL League Two this week, get to know some players on that Utah United second-year roster. And we're going to start with straight out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, the mean streets of Albuquerque, by way of St. George, Utah. Utah Tech forward Tyler Rogers, currently a forward for this Utah United USL team. First time he's been not only on this podcast, but this is his first year with the program. We'll get to that a little bit. But Tyler, thanks so much for joining me for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, appreciate you having me. This will be fun. That was a good little introduction. That was good. I liked it.
When I mentioned the mean streets of Albuquerque, is that an accurate description of how you grew up?
No, I don't think so. I think there are, but no, I think I was on the outskirts, so it wasn't too bad.
I wasn't gonna go here actually, but what do people need to know? What's a misconception maybe about New Mexico or even just the city of Albuquerque that really needs to be cleaned up? Maybe one that you hear and when you're in college at Utah Tech or up here, playing in Orem, something like that. Like, what do people think about New Mexico that's very much not true and that you want to clear up?
Oh, I would have to say, I mean, at least for me, I would just have to say like the natural beauty of New Mexico. Like, I think a lot of people, when they just think of New Mexico, it's just, desert, plain, boring. But at least for me, I think it's gorgeous. I love the desert, the sunsets, the mountains. I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions, but it depends on the person. Some people just may not like the desert, but I definitely like it. So I think it's really pretty out there.
Yeah, no, it is. I definitely can confirm some absolutely gorgeous rocks. It's also a high desert. Albuquerque's at altitude.
Yep.
And so it's got a lot of like very similar vistas and landscapes to the high desert of Utah. Actually relatively similar. And so I don't think people from Utah should be casting stones, if you will, at Albuquerque for sure. Also, I'm not gonna lie, I really thought you were gonna go with the green chili. The green chili is as advertised.
Yeah, no, that too. Can't forget about the green chili. That's right.
Yeah. I don't think anybody hates on New Mexico green chili though. Like, yeah, I don't think that's a hot take, right?
No, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Well, let's revert now that we've discussed New Mexican cuisine a little bit. Let's revert to football, to soccer.
Okay.
We like getting to know the people, the players, the coaches, the admins, managers, everything around Utah United on this show. And last week, you played a very important role with the Utah United USL League Two squad. You guys were coming off of a loss, home loss, first one of the year, 3-1 to Colorado Storm. Turned around a couple of days later and played that same team, that same Colorado Storm side. You're going into the 75th minute and then rising up like a salmon, not actually rising up like a salmon. One Taylor Rogers gets the ball at his feet, laces home the game-winning goal for a really big, I think, bounce-back win over Colorado Storm. Let's start super micro. Walk me through kind of your goal in the 76th minute against Storm that wound up being the match winner and kind of what you were seeing. What do you remember of that play?
What's funny is when I play soccer, it's funny, like after the game, it's hard like looking back because I don't know why. I just forget a lot of the stuff I did. But let me definitely, okay. So, what's funny is when I got the ball in that moment, I felt like we still had, like you saying the 76th minute, I didn't even know actually. It was like, I thought it was like the 60th minute. So I actually didn't even know it was that late. But no, I just remember getting the ball and taking it on my right, my strong foot. And then I had that first defender that was on me, and he kind of showed me to my left. So I took it on my left. But I needed to get closer to the goal, and I needed to get on my right foot to get a shot off. So I had the other defender that was on me that I cut to the right, and then I got past him, and then another defender was right there, so I cut it on my right again, and then I hit it, and I think it was deflected.
Yeah, it took a touch for sure.
Took a little deflected, and then and then the shot just kind of hit the crossbar and dinked down. So that was kind of like how the goal went down. That's so funny. I really just didn't know it was the 76th minute. I actually thought it was earlier. That's
You thought it was a little earlier. I'm sure you remembered a decent amount about the celebration because it set off a pretty wild one.
Oh yeah. Well, the thing is, I had that celebration planned out like a day before. I was thinking, I was like, what if I score? What would I do? And I don't know. So I thought of that little celebration, just dance with the team. So it was good.
Well, I mentioned it a little bit, but that goal leads to a 1-0 win for Utah United over the Colorado Storm, giving you guys a really, really big bounce back win, in my opinion, because just a couple nights earlier, you lost at home for the first time to that same Storm franchise 3-1. What was it about this response that was maybe different? Because it's the same team, same location, same venue, same friendly confines of Clyde Field. They obviously beat you there before. But obviously, just a totally different mentality, totally different result for you guys. What was different about, I guess, game 2 last week versus game 1 that led you guys to a pretty crucial 3 points at home?
I think the difference for that game was I think just the focus. Our focus was different. I think we all just seemed a little bit more dialed in, and we were dialed in the first game. Soccer's just, and I think we played good our first game, but I think we only lost 2-1, right? I don't think it was, because I think you said it's 3-1. I think it was only 2-1, right?
2-1, 2-1, 3-1. Did I say 3-1? Yeah, 2-1, 2-1.
Yeah. But
thank you
it was
for
just,
correcting me. I appreciate
no,
that.
no, it's all good. No. I was just thinking how that was through. But so I think that's how soccer is. But I think this last game, I think we were just a lot more focused, dialed in, and I think we're more together as a team, just trying to work together to make sure we come through, because it was definitely needed. So I think that was like the main difference, was just the focus, concentration, stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely the focus, the concentration. Is that something that you guys can take into this week? A pretty crucial week of games for you guys again. Starting at the end of the week against CISA, I believe you guys are playing.
CISA. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to if we want to get the results that we want. We're gonna have to be concentrated for those both games. It's interesting playing the same team 2 times in a week. So you have to be like really, really focused in, because it's easy to get sidetracked, or it's easy to just not be as focused, just because you're just being around the same team. So I think that's yeah, I think we definitely will, because it's the necessity for, at least for us, we're with what we want.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you mentioned it is a necessity, and it is a little bit weird how often you guys kind of double play the other teams in this Mountain Division. That's sort of a staple of USL League Two. That means a lot of trips to Colorado for you guys.
Yeah.
It's obviously a division that's entirely Colorado teams, except for the one Utah representative in Utah United. And
Yeah.
I think that kind of feeds into sort of where I wanted to go here, which is what made you want to play for Utah United this summer, and maybe what have you learned from it, because it is the only League Two team in Utah. There are other summer options, whether it's UPSL and PSL teams, that kind of thing, some local competition,
For sure.
even some
Yeah.
maybe some local men's league teams, even that you can go stay in St. George where you go to school at Utah
No,
Tech.
for sure. Yeah.
What kind of brought you up to Utah County and South Salt Lake to play with Utah United, and what sort of attracted you to this team and this project?
Oh, for sure. I think the main thing was, I mean, there was multiple reasons. Maybe one of them was I wanted to stay in Utah. Another one was I talked to my coach, Johnny, asked him about different teams I could play for. He had mentioned some in Arizona and Utah, or just the one in Utah. Then, um, a lot of people mentioned about Mark, about him being a coach and what he does. And I was really excited just hearing about the program here, just about the coaching staff and how it was run. So that was those were the main reasons.
For sure. And what do you feel like you've learned so far from
Oh, what did
this
I list
project.
for?
Obviously, there's still a couple matches
Yeah,
left, so
yeah,
we won't go too in depth into some end of season
for sure.
feelings. But do you feel like you've gotten better as a soccer player because of your time spent in Orem?
No, no, absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting, like, when you go with a different team or different coach, you just, like, learn new things, like, definitely with this team, I've learned how to be a more diverse, attacker, um, and how to defend with more urgency, with more pressure, um, and how to just I think honestly the most important thing that I've taken out so far is, everyone is just working as a unit, really building a team culture. Which I've really liked is I feel like we've all as like a unit as each player is all we've all wanted to win, um, which has been great. So yeah, those are some things that I've learned and picked up on here at Utah United.
For sure. And a lot of things that you can take now into what will be your sophomore season at Utah Tech, playing for Coach Johnny down there, second year player. There was a player by the name of Taylor Rogers that played on that 2022 Utah Tech team. I don't know if you're related, so I don't want to assume too much.
I might know.
Uh,
I don't know.
yeah, you might know
Might
the
know
guy though. He was a freshman forward out of Volcano Vista High School in Albuquerque, New Mexico, listed at 5'10" in cleats,
him.
6'3" with the afro as well. Started 10 of his 18 appearances, played just short of 1,000 minutes, registering 17 shots, including 7 shots on goal. He scored the team's first goal of the season that year against Marquette. Don't know if you remember that goal at all. Also had an assist against Utah RGV and another goal against Houston Christian as well. So got some good time, some good minutes as a freshman. This Taylor Rogers, again, don't know if you know the guy. But how is that Taylor Rogers from 2022 a little bit different from the 2022 season, I should say, a little bit different from the Taylor Rogers that we know sitting here in June of 2025? Just kind of catches up. What have you been up to? What's been going on in life, and what are kind of some of your plans for the fall again?
No, for sure. Dang, what is some different? That's a good question. I mean, obviously, there's still like a lot that I need to prove on and work on. Speaking of today and when I played in 2022 for Utah Tech, I think maturity for sure. It's a big difference. I mean, it's been 3 years, right, or 2.5 years, so definitely maturity. Just seeing the game a different perspective, seeing it as more of a team sport rather than just an individual one. Um, so that's definitely the big difference. Um, Man, that's a good question. Actually, I'm like trying to think how to respond to that one, but I'm really
What have you
excited.
been up? What have you
Yeah,
been up to for the last 2.5 years?
yeah.
Obviously,
So
they
this
kept you away from
last,
Utah Tech.
oh, for sure. So yeah, after my fall season, 2022, at Utah Tech, I decided to serve a church mission, in which I went to served in Lima, Peru, which was great. Loved it. Did that for 2 years, and then
Good soccer country down in Peru.
it was great. Yeah, I got to
Did
play
you?
every Monday. So
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you get a little futbolito in the calle or?
I did. No, I did. It was honestly like every day I would get like a touch or two every. Yeah, there's everyone plays out there, so it was awesome. But but no, I came back in December, and then I went straight to school at Utah Tech for the spring, and which was actually really nice. It got my body and everything kind of back into shape, which was which was definitely needed because I gained a good
Yeah,
amount of weight on my mission. So that was great. Um, just like yeah, I just slowly getting back into things, and then for me to transition over for the summer at Utah United, which was actually just great because it kind of took it to another level. Because spring season at college, you're not able to train as much. It's just a little tough, but so it was good for my body to get adjusted, and then for me to go in the summer where we're training every day. We have 2 games every week. It was a nice transition, and it's really helping me develop. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season at Utah Tech. We're gonna have a great schedule. Um, definitely excited for the roster that we have for this fall. We have a lot of great players. A few of them are playing at Utah United as well, so that'll be great. Playing with them. Continue to play with them over this college fall season.
Yeah, the actually, as we're recording, the schedule for Utah Tech just by happenstance dropped
I know, yeah, I
earlier
saw that,
today
yeah.
officially, right?
That's true, yeah.
That was not planned, I promise. Full disclosure here, that was not planned. But now we know you guys are opening August 21st. That's a Thursday night game at home against Gonzaga. Pretty big name opponent coming into St. George that you guys get to host down there at Greater Zion Stadium. So welcome to the big leagues, right?
I know, yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
For sure. Sacramento State, Pacific. You got a Southern California trip of UC San Diego, Loyola Marymount, then up to Cal Poly and Cal State Fullerton before you open WAC play October 4th at UNLV. So full schedule out right now. Pretty cool for Utah Tech. Again, I promise that wasn't planned. I swear I did not plan that today for this recording, but good little happenstance right there. And I think Taylor, maybe you can kind of touch on this a little bit. What do you like about playing at Utah Tech? Not only sort of why did you commit there and out of high school and go play there for your freshman year, but what sort of keeps you around that program in St. George, playing for Coach Johnny and the Trailblazers down there?
Well, man, there's a lot of reasons. Well, I think I first signed with there went there because my older brother, he also played at Utah Tech. I mean, he's playing at Utah United as well. Larson Rogers is our left back. So he was definitely a really big influence on me. But St. George is just straight up gorgeous. It's just such a pretty place. And I went down there for an official visit, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is where I need to be. It just felt right. And then I think you asked why I'm continuing to stay down there. Is that right? That's what you asked? Or
yeah, just kind of what brought you back, I guess. And
yeah, no, for sure.
made you want to, make sure you could go back and all that stuff.
Yeah. No, I went back because I liked it my first semester. I really respect our head coach, Johnny. He kept my scholarship over my church mission, which I think is rare to see. And I just think that shows a lot about who he is. So, and like I said, St. George is gorgeous.
Yeah. St. George, Washington County specifically, fastest growing region of Utah, which is the fastest or second fastest growing state in the union. One of the two, I can't remember which, but either way. So you're in the fastest growing parts of a state that is one of the fastest growing in the continental United States, which I think is crazy and awesome.
That is crazy, yeah.
Yeah, and it still hasn't completely ruined some of those scenic landscapes, and
I know,
the black rock that you get down there in southern Utah, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So yeah, who wouldn't want to go play soccer at Utah Tech? Like that's the real question. Who wouldn't want to? For sure. Well, Taylor, once again, thanks for did I say Taylor? Tyler.
Oh, it's Taylor.
Taylor.
No,
wait,
yeah,
did I
it's
say
all good.
Tyler? I think it said Tyler just barely.
I think it's a couple times, but it's all good. Same thing.
I'm so bad with names, even when I'm literally staring.
No,
on a podcast
I'm the
right
exact
here.
same way. I'm the exact same way. It's all good.
Ty, we'll go with Ty to make it a little bit easier on me. Let's wrap up on this because this podcast I've noticed has been used by a lot of youth soccer players and even some parents of youth soccer players who are kind of looking to get where you guys are at in a lot of ways. Division I college soccer, playing in USL League Two, USL W League on the women's side, kind of getting into that hashtag path to pro and potentially moving on into the next level of their game. So I'm sure you've been asked this about a million times, and I don't want to keep you here for 17 hours. But what's kind of the number one piece of advice that you give young footballers and aspiring footballers who kind of want to get to where you're at, that are looking for maybe that first Division I college
Yeah.
offer or trying to get their foot into the collegiate game, into the League Two game. What's kind of the number one piece of advice that you give those that you can give those kids to help get where you're at?
Well, I think with that, I think I'd break it up just into 3 small things. Start early, reach out to everyone, and just because it's not Division 1 doesn't mean you can't, like, continue to grow and get, looks at or get the goals that you want. And what I mean by that is, like, starting early, so not waiting till, you're almost done with high school to start reaching out to college. Like, you should start literally the fastest that you can. The day that they give, because I think there's a certain day, I don't remember what day it is, but there's a certain day where you're allowed. Well, I think you're allowed to email colleges pretty early. I think whenever. They just can't reach out to you, back to you like a certain day. I don't remember. So start early. Start before that day. Start reaching out to colleges. I remember when I played club in New Mexico, when I would go to tournaments, I emailed every single Division 1 college coach, every single Division 2. I think I did a good amount of Division 3 and some JUCO. I emailed everyone, reached out to everyone, and helped me out a lot to get to know other coaches, get to know their programs. So that would be the first one, is reach out to everyone. And I think a lot of players, especially on the male side, get so focused on playing Division 1 when honestly, there are so many just Division 2 teams that are just as good or not better than Division 1 teams. So I think having that in mind, and also like D3 and JUCO, you could definitely go play 2 years at JUCO and get sent to a amazing Division 1 program. So just because you're not getting any D1 offers does not mean it's the end of the world. You could totally take those 1-2 years and totally turn that around and just keep developing. So yeah, that was the zone. And what was the last one? I think that was the last one, right? Yeah. So I think those are the 3 small things. Start early, reach out to everyone, and if it's not Division 1, that's okay.
I love that. Start early, reach out to everybody, cast a wide net, and then don't be afraid, don't be discouraged if your dream school hasn't responded back to you, if that top of the line Division 1 program hasn't gotten back to you. I love that. There really is. There's a lot of great soccer out there, both in the collegiate ranks and otherwise. And sometimes all you really need is a chance. You need that one opportunity. Right. To quote our friend Marshall Mathers, you need one chance, one opportunity. And then you just got to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment and capture it. Loosely paraphrased, obviously.
There we go. Yeah.
Taylor Rogers, he is a rising sophomore forward at Utah Tech University, currently playing his summer for Utah United in USL League Two. And he's also got some great advice for aspiring footballers, aspiring college soccer players around the country. I think that was great. I might need to pull some of that. Maybe we'll throw that online, get it out to the folks out there, because that, sir, I think is some great advice. Taylor, and I'm just realizing I misspelled your name here in my document. That's why I've been referring to it, probably calling you like 3 or 4 different versions.
No, it's all good.
Yeah. I also misspelled your name with an E-L-E-R. You spell it with an O. Taylor Rogers. You can catch him this fall down at Utah Tech University. You can catch him for the rest of the summer at Utah United in Orem. They're back at Clyde Field this week against CISA to wrap up the home season, and then they'll wrap up the regular season here coming up on the road, still in the hunt for those USL League Two playoffs as well. So Taylor, thanks so much for joining me, being my guest here
appreciate you having me.
And that was episode 3 of the United Football Podcast here on Salt City FC.